Not sure what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Good afternoon, Quasar Markets Live. I hope everyone is having a good trading day. I am joined. It's been a little while since we've been together. We've missed you, Agnieszka. I
It
am here with
was.
Agnieszka Wood. How are you doing today?
Hi, Howard. I missed you too. It feels like it has been a long time. It was just, 1 week, but
I
time flies,
know.
right? So
Absolutely.
everything is okay here. How are
Good.
you doing?
Everything's good. I've been continuing to use your habit tracker and continuing to use your tips that you've sent me. And I have to tell you, they are working really well for me. I got to give you a success story. I think I sort of just shared it with you before we came on. But I have been trading, Bitcoin and the crypto and just the market in general took off after the election. But unlike normal, I have not gone completely FOMO and I've been taking profits along the way. And it
Nice.
has been working really well, and it's allowing me so something you didn't tell me that I would learn is it also allows me to reallocate those assets into new trades. So you didn't share that part
Awesome.
with me also,
Congratulations.
but I wanted to thank you so much because all of the techniques and things that you have been working with me on, or that I've been learning as we've been working together to get our viewers trading mindset in the right place, are really working out in this market. So again, I wanted to
That's
thank you
awesome.
for
I'm
that.
happy to hear that. And it's interesting that you say that, that there's just so much like side benefits to working on your mindset in general. That's why always when you learn how to become a profitable trader and a consistent trader, there is also a lot of benefits that you will get, not just in trading, but in your private life, because the way that you become disciplined, the way that you become, self-compassionate, that you learn how to act in your best interest, is just gonna change things how you do in your daily life. There's just no other way. When you change your mindset, you're basically changing your perspective, the way you look at things, and that just changes your life basically.
It really does. I can't make that more, clear that it really has. And, what I've noticed in just spending a little time every day following the tips that you've given me, it's kept me from that initial reaction. And what I have been watching and learning also that I have to give you credit is, especially in the market the way it is right now, I'm seeing that after earnings, something will shoot up immediately. Earnings come out, it shoots up 5% and we're down
Right.
5%. And you can see the people, I can just envision it, that are hitting that button. Man, I called that wrong. And then 10 minutes later, it just recourses and it returns to the mean. And then, the trade works out the way that it
Right.
should have. So I have to say again, what I'm learning is that in a time right now where every data point seems to send people into a little bit of a frenzy, that centering yourself and avoiding, like you've talked about, the fear factor sometimes has really
Right.
worked out to my benefit. Can you talk a little bit about how we can do that? When everything's hitting us, how do we take that step back and let data sort of hit us before we just make a decision?
Yeah, it's really a matter of understanding first of all what is hitting you. So you have
Right.
to first become aware what is the environment that you are agreeing to be in. So when you are trading, it's a little bit like going into space. And when you go into space, you know that the environment will be different, right? There will be no oxygen, and there will be no gravity. So you have to be prepared how to deal with those conditions. And if you just simply say, "Oh, I'm just gonna wing it," you're probably gonna be dead very quickly.
Absolutely. That's a great
So
analogy.
and that's what happens in the market. A lot of traders just sort of jump into their spaceship and go to the moon, and they hope for the best. And yeah, they blow up their accounts. They hurt not just their accounts, but they start getting a lot of stress. And of course, what follows is more frantic behaviors, more losses, and it just kind of, you get into that roller coaster. And constant battle with yourself. So fortunately, the forces are a little bit less than no gravity and no oxygen,
Sure.
but still there is a lot of triggers. So what you said is like, how do you stay sane when those comets are shooting at you? Right? How
Right.
how can
Absolutely.
you actually be stay and still be calm? And that's what I would say you need to build. You need to build sort of a suit, an
Okay.
astronaut suit, where
Yeah.
you need to wear that protection, and that protection are your mindset skills that you need to learn and practice every single day, because you can know what the skill is, but if you don't practice it, you're probably not going to use it properly, just like with any other skill. And the
Sure.
more you practice, the more mastery you will achieve in those skills, and eventually those skills will become like sort of your second nature, like your second skin.
Right.
So what say I grew a thick skin, and
Yeah.
now the market throw things at me and I'm fine. And this is what I see also from my students. Once they go through my program and they actually practice those skills and build, and they know what those skills are. Fun fact, a lot of traders don't even know what those skills are,
Sure.
or how many skills they have to learn. Sometimes when I ask how many skills there are, you think that you actually need to be able to perform as a trader. Like the numbers range from like 25, like people really have no idea. And it's not their fault, because this is not simply something that is in the regular education program, how to become a trader, right?
Sure.
People know like, yes, I need to get my psychology straight. Like, what does that mean?
What is
Just
that?
learn the skills.
Yeah.
The skills, just like technical analysis, there are mindset skills that you need to learn and practice, period. Otherwise, you're just going there without a suit, without the oxygen, and you fly away in space.
Right.
So yeah, that is, I think, if you really want a long-term solution, that's the answer. Learn mindset skills, practice them, because this will help you build resilience, emotional resilience to all those forces that are hitting you. And if you want Advil, sort of quick solution, I would say at least breathe.
Yeah. Oh, that's always a great one. And we laugh, but I tell my 4-year-old all the time, take a deep breath, and it's something that you
Exactly.
need to do, that we need to do. What I'd also say too is that I've found by using your tools and sort of processing things a little different, I'd almost use, and you are a coach, not a teacher, as you always tell me, and I agree
Right.
with. And I'm going to take it a little bit to the sports side. Is I find that the game is slowing down for me a little bit. You
Mm.
hear quarterbacks and coaches talk about these things. The game's slowing down for him. And to me that means is, as opposed to being a race to make a decision based upon inputs that are coming into me, I'm allowing those inputs to come in and then sort of analyzing them before making a decision. So to me, it almost became
Yeah.
slowing down is what I see has been the big difference for me. And it really is. I can't tell you. I mean, I bet our viewers think that I'm just, blowing smoke up you, but it isn't, because I've seen it work. I've seen it work this week, and I didn't really see it in real time. When you jumped on this morning, when we just jumped on, I said, I
Yeah.
didn't really think about it, but this week I've had one of my better trading weeks in a long time. And again, it's a
Mm.
lot easier when Bitcoin and all my crypto is going through the moon. But even with that, it's more been about, like I said, saying, okay, I had my thesis, it hit my thesis, I took profit. Now I'm going to
Yeah.
allocate those assets, and I'm going to put them here, and I'm going to do this. And it's really provided me to take a more well-rounded look, I think, at the markets, is how I'd also
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah. That's so very true. And it might be easier, it might seem easier, like when everything goes to the moon, might seem easier to make money, but this is actually exactly where the greed, where FOMO, where all those emotions are getting triggered,
Right.
because you want to be in that move. And the most frustrating part is, if you see everything going up and for some reason you are always on the wrong side, or you're chasing it and then you're jumping out, then you don't take the full profit because you already have some profit, and then you get scared out. but that's exactly what happens when you do not prepare yourself mentally and emotionally, and when you don't train your body, because this is really something very physiological. Your
Right.
nervous system is going to react to all that, and your thoughts are going to react. Your brain is just going to react to what the impulses that you give, which is the price movement, all the news, or maybe even some social post, or some Discord, and you see someone making money and you're not, and you're like, oh my God, I need to be in something. I need to be in a trade. Everyone is making
Right.
money. And boom, before you know, you're in something, right? That wasn't planned. So that is very easy to fall for that, even when the market is going to the moon and like crazy.
Right. No, like you said, and what I've been able to do when I say get in and get out and back in, so to speak, is I'm taking advantages of the spikes and the dips and the rips that we're
Yeah.
seeing, and taking profit when I see certain things happen, and then re-entering after these pullbacks that are inevitable, even in these runaway stocks that you and I have been talking about, like Carvana.
Yeah.
That's been one for you. That's been great. MSTR for me.
Yeah.
When they make that exuberant jump, they tend to make a measured move back, whether it be a quarter measured move or a half measured move. And I wait for
Right.
it patiently, and I think what I'd like to ask you too is, okay, now I have to worry about being over exuberant, and I've been very good about that. How do I get to that point though? What I mean there is, you know, breaking out of a losing cycle, I think, is one of the hardest things for traders to do, because you just brought up some things that I know I do when I'm in a losing cycle, taking profits way too quick for not the right reasons and all of this
Correct.
stuff. So I don't mean to change tunes on you here quickly, but the market is
Yeah,
pulling
no.
back a little bit, so I do think it's important that we ask those questions right now.
Yeah. So what you have described just before is like really like when things are slowing down for you, it's when you are in the zone, right? Well, that's what
Yeah.
they also describe like as athletes, right? That something everything is slowing down because you're just so focused, you're in the zone. And then all the other things don't matter. Like nothing can disturb you because you are sort of focused and concentrated. Now going with that flow of the market, you can only do that if you are not getting pulled by your emotions in all kinds of directions. And now, what keeps people stuck in a cycle is the inability to manage their emotions
Right.
and letting their emotions take over, not seeing even the triggers, and simply being reactive. So you can have the best strategy ever where everyone else is making money with, or at least someone is making money with. But if you cannot stick to that strategy, you are not going to be successful. Now, what keeps you really stuck in that cycle and repeating those behaviors are the dynamics of our patterns of thoughts that pull you into emotions, and emotions pull you into certain behaviors. So it's like this domino effect.
Right.
And if you don't have the awareness of, okay, this is the trigger that always sets me off, this particular happening, or this particular thing I see on the chart, this situation is always triggering a certain thought, and then it makes me feel this certain way, making me react in a certain moment. If you are not aware, sorry, of those patterns, it's not going to be easy to break them because you are just running on automatic pilot. And that's the problem with the cycle. As long as you run on automatic pilot, you can break that cycle.
Right.
It's really that simple. It's the awareness of first what is happening, and then breaking the cycle, which mindset skills will help you to become aware of the cycle, and then to have the resilience to say, okay, I'm getting triggered, but I actually am strong enough to say, not this way, that way.
Right. That is so important. You just hit on the two parts of it. It's a two-part process, and I think people struggle with both parts equally. But it sometimes isn't both, but it's one of the two that cause the problem. So I think there, and like you said, you can't shut a chart off. So you've got to learn to work through those triggers,
Yeah.
identifying them first, I think. Now, do you find our traders? I know that, and for me, it was easy because you came recommended so highly from, my mentor, Big Beat, Stephen Orr, my CEO here. Um, you know, but do traders have trouble looking within, do you think? Or are we pretty good at that? Or is it something that do you find that we tend to be open-minded or closed-minded?
I think everyone, yeah, it's a very good question. I think everyone to a certain extent has resistance to look in. Everyone has the ability, but there is a certain resistance of the unknown. What am I going to discover? Like
Right,
traders know at some point in their journey, they know it's not my strategy, it's me. But making that step to say, and now I'm going to do something about it, there's still, it's a process because especially if you have been stuck in a cycle for a long time, you might be thinking, like, I've been there for so long. First of all, I should be able to do this already. And secondly, it always feels like you are almost there, right? Because that's what the cycle does. You're doing great and then you blow it. You're
right,
doing great and then you blow it. So every time on this run up, you feel like I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So why would I be working on my mindset? But then you blow it and then you feel miserable and then you question yourself, well, I don't think I can actually make it, right? So what it doesn't make sense to even start working on my mindset because I'm a loser anyway. So it's that is the vicious cycle as well because you keep yourself stuck in it, hesitating whether something is going to help you because you feel like you've tried everything. So why would this next fantastic thing be better? Right? Like,
right,
okay, have already learned so much. I've read all the books. Nothing is working. There must be something wrong with me then, so it's really the internal resistance and hesitation to make that step rather than not wanting to do it or not being able to do it. But once you make that decision, then the process is actually pretty easy and smooth because the resistance is always just at the beginning
I
of the
I was going to
process.
ask that because I know for me it didn't take long. It was, okay, let's see what is this thing about, and I started tracking some habits, and then, right away you start to, anytime I think that you do self-analysis to a point, you're going to see things that you didn't see. So I do hope
Yeah,
that people are smart enough and not scared of that. Um, and,
yeah,
and I think it's important to talk about it because it shows you what's the difference between the professional quarterback that's the all pro and the person who didn't make it a lot of times. It's that ability to look within themselves.
yeah,
They
yeah,
both had the
exactly.
ability to throw that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, or whatever it is, or hit that golf ball there, but it's the mental that changes. And I can tell you that as someone who played Division I sports. The difference is a lot of time it isn't the physical, it's the mental side of trading. And you've
Right.
really you've pointed out some things, and it's been so great for me since I've been able to join Quasar Markets because I get to meet coaches and educators like yourself
Mm.
and Alan Ellman and these Jeremy Vreeland. I've had back-to-back interviews today where everybody is in such a different part of the field of traders, but where I see certain things that are intrinsic to successful traders. If they have a thesis or a system or a strategy, stick to it. So many of us are so quick to jump off of that. The first sign of something not following the pattern exactly like we saw it, we jump out. And both of the people I talked to that, one, and it's funny because both traders are very different. Dr. Ellman is 30 years of covered calls and a very risk averse trader who uses, buys 100 shares and then sells covered calls or covered puts against
Uh-huh.
them to lower his risk and to increase his chances of winning. The other person was Jeremy Vreeland, who is a retail trader who's just made the move from doing it part time to this being his career, and he's much more risk averse or much more willing to take on risk
Yeah.
there. But what I'm learning is why are both of them successful? They have developed systems over times. They've developed trading practices and they stay true to their practices. And
Yeah.
that's where I have failed in the past, I know. So that is, and what I've learned through your course and through your stuff is to trust myself. You know, I am outstanding at technical analysis, not to slap myself on the back. I get people all the time that send me notes that I can't believe it was right on, and I don't act against them a lot of times. Is that I had this obstacle in my mind that was there that has, you know, been able to get a little bit broken out from you. So I have, again, I thank you for that. And I do tell our
My
traders,
pleasure.
you know, and I want to transition a little bit into the fact that you are just about or have just opened up your signups for your more intensive program. Could you tell my viewers a little
Right.
bit more about the program itself?
Yes. So this is a group program of 12 weeks where you really build a solid foundation for consistency and long-term results. So this is really all about finding out what's not working, changing those things, what's not working, but not only that, not only getting you out of the cycle, because what is really like if you want to trade for a living, you need to make sure that you can perform long term at the highest level, just like professional athletes. So, preparing you for that moonwalk, preparing you for the what the conditions are that the market that you are actually operating in every single day, and how to make sure that you can perform in those conditions and that you can choose your responses, choose your decisions, making rational decisions and not being reactive. So this is the program opens in January. So it starts in January actually, and if you like, you can get on the wait list. And as soon as the enrollment opens, because the pre-enrollment already closed on last Friday, so
Right.
now it is just a regular enrollment. We will be opening it soon. So get on. If you go to my website and you go work with me at the top, you can click on there, and then you will see two different programs. And on the left side, there is a group program. So if you click on this, you can join my priority list. And once you do, you leave your email address, and then I will contact you and then see if this program is the right fit. We'll get on a call and talk
Sure.
about it, see what your goals are, and this is a good fit.
And what I want to stress is how many people do you take at a time into this 12-week program?
12.
Okay, I just
I only
wanted to, I
work
know
with
you said
12
it, I just
people
wanted
at
to
a
stress it
time.
again because it is
Yes.
so amazing. You don't ever hear that. You are the only coach slash educator that I have on that works in such a small, you know, class size.
Yeah.
And what I have, you know, I can tell because when we've joined this, half the time, yeah, I come on, I tell you my successes that I've had that day, and you tell me about your student successes. And it is such a
Yeah.
joy to see the joy that you have in educating people the same way that I get excited when someone sends a note to Quasar about, hey, you showed me about that trade and I got in and now I understand it and I was
Yeah.
successful. It's the greatest feeling in the world. And you really show that attachment to your students, to your clients that you have. I see it in the way that you discuss the successes and even the failures that sometimes we run across
Yeah.
the time. So I really want to
Yeah.
thank you for joining us and getting back into the swing of things. Next
Thank you so
week, are
much.
you here? I didn't ask you yet. Are you here the week?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here. So I look
Awesome. So
forward
then we will have
to
you
be
back
on
on
again.
Monday and Wednesday into our
Wonderful.
regular role again next week. A lot more to
Thank you.
discuss. Please go to her website. It's aheadcoach.com. That's aheadcoach.com. You see a QR code right under Agnieszka there. That gets you right into her free trading mindset tips. Those are the ones that I started with, and I'm already seeing such amazing improvement. I can't suggest it enough. Again, Agnieszka, thank you so much for joining us today.